Alright guys, I'm just gonna make this video about World Trigger, even though I'm playing Tokiden Kiwami, and I just want to talk about how I first became a fan of World Trigger. Okay, so where should I start? I guess I'll start around the time whenever I discovered World Trigger, which was at the end of 2015, around the November area. I mean, I knew about World Trigger when it first came out, but I didn't actually invest myself into it. Like, I seen the title of it and I seen what it was about, but I really didn't, read the manga or watch the anime. I just looked at it. Okay, after this little bit, I'll talk some more. Alright, as I was saying before, I really didn't truthfully discover World Trigger or started getting into it until around the end of 2015. It was during the middle arc, around the time that they were fighting Suzunari and the Natsu squad. So how I got into World Trigger was pretty interesting, because the very first time I seen it, the reactions, it was made by Toei Animation. I'm not trying to say anything bad. I mean, they haven't been the best when it came to most titles that people know of. I mean, like it or not, the content is still really interesting when it comes to the story. You have to actually make it past the first 5 episodes. Mainly 4, because I've seen that as the draw line to how some people have to take time, I guess. Most people want to watch anime similar to Naruto or One Punch Man, Bleach, One Piece. I mean, there's nothing wrong with those anime series, but most of them, I just consider them as cliche. I'm the type to watch the anime shows that most people would just throw down immediately. Now, there are decent ones, like considering Tokyo Ghoul. I mean, some of it is cringeworthy. I know that coming from me, saying something about Tokyo Ghoul is cringeworthy, it doesn't really help me be credible. So instead of going down that route, World Trigger is different, such as it does have the fantasy type thing going on with the powers and such, but most of it is actually realistic when you think about it. Such as the mini worlds and the neighbors and the grand scheme of everything and how it's set up. It's mainly something that sounds like it's gonna be long, or if longer than the One Piece series. And One Piece has been going strong for years now. So there's not much I can really say about One Piece. It's there for a reason. It's still in the top. And it's there for good reason. Like I don't knack One Piece for anything, because well, you know, it's One Piece. But back to World Trigger. And by the way, this is the first time I've actually done this YouTube thing. I don't do this, so that's why it's awkward for me to talk and stuff, because I have to actually contemplate what I'm gonna say. Normally, I have a script written up, but I just wanted to try out without script. Just to see where I'm at when it comes to making YouTube videos. I'm gonna do more YouTube videos in the future. It's just that I'm doing this to get ready to do a review for World Trigger game that's out. Well, it's been out for quite some time, but it didn't make it over to US, and there's most of you guys probably already know why it didn't make it to the US. Specific reasons why. But I'll get into that on a later note. I'm not trying to make this video long. It's just something that I wanted to get out there, because like most of us who are World Trigger fans, we want to see more World Trigger content. And the only way we can see more World Trigger content is by continuing to share, post, and support World Trigger and talk about it, which is what we've been doing. Which is good, because as far as animes and stories go, like this is not your average type of underrated. I mean, I'm not trying to hype something up more than it should be, but this is one of your type of anime that is so underrated that you wonder why. Like, why did this anime just come out and fall? Well, 80% of it, well, I have never, well, yeah, a good 80% of it is due to the animation style, and not even the manga, because the manga is fabulous. The manga is what's keeping World Trigger alive at this moment. Without the manga for World Trigger, we really wouldn't even be able to stay on top of this. Like, this anime is really big when you think about how the world is, and there's still so much we don't know. We don't know, to tell you the truth, we practically don't know anything about the main character, to be honest. Like, the only thing we know about is he has a mom, yes, and his mentor was Chica's older brother. But we learned that somewhere during the middle of the series. At the beginning of the series, we didn't know what to think. Like, it had you questioning whether was this going to be something that you're going to stick to, or was this just going to be another one of those psychological anime that really didn't bring much to the table as far as how looks go. And looks as in, I know I'm getting back towards this whole taboo with the Toei animation thing, but for me it's really not a problem. Like, I don't care about who made it or the animation style or even really the quality. To me, at the end of the day, it's the story. And I'm not trying to say I'm trying to degrade something, or that I don't have essential taste in anime, because I've been watching anime for quite some time. I mean, I'm only 23 and I've been watching anime since I was 7. And I've watched pretty much everything that you could think of. And that doesn't even matter much, since we all know what the whole goal of anime is. It's mainly entertainment, but it's cartoons. No, that's bad. No, I can't really say anime is a cartoon, because then again, there's a lot of graphic things in there. So I'm just gonna put it as anime is animated stories. I would say really good animated stories that would have you think that they're portrayed as cartoons, but to me it's a little bit more than that, because a lot of times it is more like, I've learned a little bit more watching animes than I've ever watching like soap operas or movies you see in the theater. Like, whenever I think about a movie, like, I think about an actual anime movie, such as, I don't know, One Piece, Dragon Ball Z. A lot of things that got me into the movies of anime was Dragon Ball Z, and that's pretty sad coming from me, because they're another series made by Toei Animation, and it's kind of neck and neck. Originally, before I got into World Trigger, I've always been a Digimon fan, and Digimon is also made by Toei Animation. I mean, I'm not trying to uphold them or anything. I'm not a Toei Animation fanboy by any means, because I will admit, coming into World Trigger episode 1, I could last, but episode 3 and 4 is really what they got me. I mean, they were okay, it's just that there were times in the frames where I could literally see how terrible the animation quality was. Like, it got to a point where it was cringeworthy seeing some of the skips of how Osamu's face was portrayed. Like, if you slowed that stuff down, you could, it's literally an amoeba. That's how I'm gonna leave it. An amoeba. It was an amoeba job of an animation. An amoeba job. It was very slimy and not as fluid as it should or could have been, because I've seen Toei Animation do a lot of budget cuts with certain scenes and all, but after you get past those first 4 episodes, things pick up and get a million times better. Like, I'm talking about, this anime went from 0 to 100, being a very strong 0 due to, you guys probably already know it, those episodes are, those 1 through 4, 1 through 5 episodes are so cringeworthy. I'm still baffled by how I even got into World Trigger after that. I mean, I looked at the title cover, I'm like, yeah, this anime looks pretty good, I'm just gonna wait on it. Like, maybe it'll be decent. Then I took those first 4 episodes, and I was like, oh my god, this is terrible. What is this? This is absolute garbage. This is trash. I'm ashamed that I even watched this. But then, after my first time watching it, was was in late November. Came back 3 months after that. I went back to it again because my mind was like, maybe you should try it again and take it slow. And because I was also waiting for it to get some more episodes, even though I didn't watch past episode 5. I was just gonna wait for it, and I'm glad I did, because slowly but surely, after I made it past episode 5, I just got hooked. Like, I just fell in love with World Trigger. Like this went from being on a scale from 1 to 10, being like a 2 on my anime list, to being an absolute 10. Like, this is like the main thing I look forward to. Well, I did look forward to when the World Trigger anime was out. I look forward to World Trigger. Like, each and every week I waited, and when there were breaks, man, like, those breaks killed me. Like, I would literally have to go throughout the whole day and work just thinking about World Trigger and the new episode. What's gonna happen next? What is Yuma gonna do? Like, Yuma was literally my favorite character starting off in the anime series, because I had that mentality that most people, I'm not trying to call people out or anything, but you know how we all want that really strong and cocky main character, the guy that is always winning, he doesn't lose, he never backs down from a fight, he's more of a rebel. I was craving that character, and I didn't have anybody else to look to for a character like that except for Yuma. Yuma was my guy. Like, every time I looked at the anime, I was like, man, I'm gonna see what Yuma does next. Yuma is amazing. And then I was like, who's this guy? Osamu? Wait, Osamu's the main character? Oh god, no, he can't be the main character. And it just so happens Osamu was the main character. Osamu went from being, he wasn't even on my list. Like, throughout the series, throughout the first 10 episodes, I completely ignored Osamu. The only time I didn't ignore him was around the first and second episode, whenever he pretty much was able to analyze Yuma and to help him out when he went into his classroom talking about his ring. That's the only time when Osamu really stood out to me. But after I seen him transform, when he turned on his trigger for the first time and he got completely massacred, and I didn't expect that. Like, I know how some main characters like to play the weak card, like, but they hold back their strength. That's what it seemed like Osamu was doing, and he actually was holding back his strength, and he could have hurt those guys. But I like Osamu's character because I can relate to empathizing with people rather than feeling sorry for them. Like, at the end of the day, Osamu, he's the guy. Like, he's the guy even more so than most of the other people that would think he would be. Like, he's OP. Like, and I know that doesn't make sense, but just watch, if you watch World Trigger daily and you take the time to rewatch it, like, I've rewatched World Trigger at least 9 times now. I'm not even joking. I would watch the series through and through, and then the next week I watch it. I watch an episode every day until I finish it. And I'm gonna do it again next week, not this week, because I'm trying to keep some of my sleep in so I can make it through, because a lot of new games have come out this month, and it's more than a struggle than what it needs to be. I hate when they release games so close together, like Skyrim, Xenoverse, Battlefield 1, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. It's like they release all these games at once, and then you gotta spend so much money. It's ridiculous. But up on another subject.
Hey, you can't eat in a bed. You know? Why did you pull that in the bed, son?
I'm sorry about that interruption. I don't know why. I just have random people come in my room. Anyhow, I don't sound very excited right now because I'm actually kind of tired. I should have probably waited to do this video on a better time so I could have more concise and clear things to say and not just mumble my words, because it sounds like I'm mumbling, and I'm doing pretty bad at this game anyhow. I recently started playing this game. I don't even know, I'm not even sure about the mechanics. But it's not even that hard. But I imagine the World Trigger game being like more of an ideal World Trigger game being somewhat like this. Like for instance, how this game Tokiden has a mixture of the different classes, like the weapon users. Like you got shooter, gunner, attacker, all-rounder, sniper. And then you got the really weird people who just freaking OP and nuts, like Kageura and Murakami. Especially Kageura. He's, aside from Tachikawa, Kageura, I would have to say Kageura should be number 2 attacker over Ko at the end of the day. And I remember even Ko saying it himself that there was someone even stronger than him. And after I've seen Kageura fight and how his side effect works, yeah, it's really OP. It's OP, but at the same time, it's condescending. Because just imagine you being able to feel all the emotions someone else has, and it just affecting you. I mean, it's okay in a combat sense, but then again, it'd be annoying. Because then there's one guy, he's probably really sad or upset. He's probably talking mad stuff about you behind your back, and then you can just hear him talking mad stuff about you. And they're like, so what am I going to do about this? Well, just use Kageura as example. Go figure. I didn't expect this video to be as long. It was only going to be 5 minutes, but since I'm kind of tired and I did a lot of pauses and mumbling here and there, but my main message in this video is pretty much check out World Trigger. Go on Reddit. There's a World Trigger page up on Reddit. They're a really good community. They post lots and lots of info. It's active on there all the time. If there's something you don't know about World Trigger, then you'll definitely learn from them. Like, it's a really good anime to get into. I really wasn't able to cover what I wanted to. It's just due to just me being tired overall. And this is my first time doing this. along with this game as well. So I'm a newcomer in all ways. I never really expected to do the whole YouTube thing, because I'm pretty sure you guys can tell that I'm more of an introverted person. I don't talk much. I pause in between sentences and repeat myself back to back here and there. But I have a plan in the subjects and topics I talk about. But it's getting there. I say "but" a lot. That's one of the words I've got to get out. At least I'm not like most people. Whenever they make a video, when they talk, they're like, blah, 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 and then most of the time whenever I'm listening to those YouTube videos, I get the information, yeah, but then I just hear all these connotations like, and then whenever I go back to remember what they were talking about, I just hear, and I'm really focusing on not being that, because that's a no. That's a no for me. I don't know about everybody else. That's just a no. So also, this is also not a bad game either. This is just what I feel World Trigger should be. The World Trigger game should be like when it comes to the class system. Like, have your own, like, give it character creation. Like, start off with your own border agent team of characters that you can create, and then have it to where you can divide your team. I know in World Trigger Borderless Mission, since I've done a lot of analytical things on the game, such as I've seen reviews, I've looked at gameplay and footage and whatnot, and gameplay mechanics. So I know I'd say, even though I've seen those things, I know a little bit about the game because I haven't actually played it. So I really can't have an opinion on it precisely until I actually play it. So that's why I'm really not talking about the World Trigger game as much, because I haven't played it. But whenever I do get it, then I'll actually be able to dive into those subjects, because it's what you hear versus you actually experiencing it. And I like to be the one to experience it before I say something, because then everybody will be like, well, you haven't even played the game yet, so how will you know if this game is good or not? Even though you've watched videos and done a little bit of reviews and stuff on it, until you actually play it yourself, it's not really as valuable, because it doesn't really showcase what you know or what you're learning. And this is a learning experience for me, just as it's a learning experience for everybody else, especially this YouTube thing. I'm beyond new at this, that the quality of my videos are gonna be my videos are basically gonna be like the track of World Trigger. Well, yeah, the track record of World Trigger. It's gonna start like total garbage, like stuff that's beyond cringeworthy, and even my voice right now. I'm probably talking in my head voice because I'm tired. It's just not good. I'm trying to sound happy at the same time being tired. I mentioned that too many times. So, anyhow, getting back into the topic here. First got into World Trigger. It was absolute bullcrap. I knocked it a couple of times, came back to it, gave it time, and voila, it's deserving. I don't care what anyone else says. World Trigger is a deserving series and title that, with proper management, this should actually, to me, World Trigger should be the top anime and the anime industry right now. I'm not even joking. I'm being serious, because after I've seen all the other rehash garbage, I mean, not really garbage, but rehash. Not saying that there aren't any good anime out there, but World Trigger just is a different breed. I can like rewatch World, and here's the thing about that, about anime. You know, an anime is good when you can literally rewatch it. There's a lot of anime I mean, I love Tokyo Ghoul, but for the love of me, I cannot rewatch it. Like, once I watch it, it's like one of those one-time things, like Cabaneri and the Iron Fortress. Like, it was really good to watch the first time, and you remember it. There's not really much you can get out of it because it had a plot. It was a one-shot. It did the job. But not World Trigger. I've had to rewatch this anime a lot, and I'm still going to rewatch it. And one of the reasons why I do rewatch it is because I learn something new each time I watch it. And I can sit there and rewatch it. Like, I can rewatch previous episodes more than once, wanting that next and I think that's what it is. It's how World Trigger did the cliffhangers. Like, I mean, those cliffhangers are really they're terrible. They're awful. They just make you want to explode. But those cliffhangers, at the end of the day, helped me to actually watch it. Because without those cliffhangers, I wouldn't sit around waiting or wondering what's going to happen next time. I mean, most people with those cliffhangers, they would have dropped the anime, because that's what happened. When it comes to World Trigger, I'm pretty sure a lot of people that started watching it dropped it, like, then and there, because they started watching and then they're like, oh, this is crap. The animation is bad and it has cliffhangers. Nope, waste of time. Without even actually digging deeper into the story, which it takes time. If people give something like this time, it'll grow on you. And trust me, the World Trigger story, to me right now, is the top story right in anime. Like, all these other animes that are out, I mean, there's Nambaka. It's okay, but it's not. It doesn't hook me. To me, it's just about OP, really smart characters that are OP, but it's more of a comedy. So it just hurts to see this anime not where it should be. And there's key specific points that lets me know it should be a lot farther ahead. And it's not farther ahead because of these are the factors I believe. One, it being with Toei Animation, them being cringeworthy and all knowing of when how people do videos and stuff of YouTube about World Trigger, they normally get flagged for the copyright infringement thing, and nobody really likes that. So that's probably why no one has made really any fan dubs. I mean, there's an English dub of it that I've seen, like a preview, but no actual thing that has to deal with fans. Like Team 4-Star didn't jump on the World Trigger, so what's even good about it if you can make memes? Because I think at the end of the day, whenever someone sees World Trigger, they're gonna be saying world triggered because of, I guess that's the thing with it. It's world triggered because when you watch the first 4 episodes, it triggered you not to watch it. And there was a lot, and to me there's a lot more positive things to say about World Trigger than all the other stuff, because all the other stuff is really, it's not that big a deal. It's just small, it's just really itty bitty things that people could easily look past, which I don't see how or why when it comes to big anime like Naruto, now that I go back and watch Naruto and Bleach and some of the other higher end supposedly anime, and even especially One Punch Man, I cannot stand One Punch Man. After watching it and then seeing it for what it is, I think it's because I watched One Punch Man first and I loved it, because I was into anime like that before I watched World Trigger, and now I'm starting to see the realism within World Trigger, how they actually use tactics and they don't have freaking OP broken godlike powers. I mean, besides Chica, they have to actually work for their victories and success. I don't see anybody freaking breaking the Richter scale and freaking charging up and just winning a battle just by pure friendship. Like, I don't see Yuma going and saying, oh, Osamu's losing a battle, oh, I got friendship powers, now I'm using the power of friendship to beat this guy. No, because we can easily tell that Yuma can be outmatched when the odds are stacked against him. When there's a concrete tactic and strategy that is targeted directly at Yuma, he can be heavily outmatched, which is very interesting, because someone of Yuma's skill level, you wouldn't think that, oh, no one in Border could touch him, but there's actually a lot of people in Border, even people that we've yet to see, that could give Yuma a run for its money. Now, in retrospect to the ranking and how World Trigger works, let me just say this. The B rankers are scary. Like, the top, especially the top B rankers. At A rankers, and I know everyone else is probably thinking this too, the A rankers just make me worry about Border. And here's why. The A rankers that are A rank now do not seem like they should even be A rank, because I see a lot of problems within their squad, and they use tactics, but they're not really good like the B rank agents. The B rank agents are mainly the middle and top B rank agents are so good, and the A rank, when I talk about A rank, I'm not trying to down Kitoro or anything, but she's just she's not A rank. And I'm pretty sure everybody sees that. Kitoro, when it comes to fighting, I'd say she's mid-tier B rank, because there's attackers, especially even the attacker in Suwa squad. I believe the attacker in Suwa squad could probably solo Kitoro, and here's one reason. Well, here's a reason why. She's just clueless. I mean, she has a lot of good ideas and she's really talented, but she's not all that smart. She's smart, but then not smart. I don't know how to really explain that, because she did help Osamu out in a few instances, but when I think about it, it's just that Kitoro has a little bit more tools and slightly more insight than Osamu does. But Osamu has more of the analytical side to where he's able to break things down and make them work, such as Osamu could probably take a toothpick and make it freaking work like a greatsword. I don't know how he'd do it, but he knows how to take small and little things and use them to his advantage. And that's the type of character that I'm now looking towards, and well, I'm geared towards, because I didn't see that from Naruto. I mean, Naruto wasn't stupid by any means. I mean, most people probably would think that he's just that, but most of the tactics and things Naruto used, he just was overpowered. But at the same time, he just kept coming back. No one really ever got a read up on Naruto's limit of chakra, because this guy was just pouring out as much as chakra as the Nine Tails, and probably even more chakra than that. Naruto is pretty much a tank. Well, I kind of want to end this video up on that, simply because I've come to my senses that I should just lay down and start this another day. The video wasn't good anyhow because of outside interference, and it was over the time limit I want it to be. And I'm probably going to just take it down and edit out some of the parts that I didn't like. So overall, I started World Trigger in November. I knew about it when it first came out around the 2014 area, but I really started it in late November of 2015. Watched the first 5 episodes, dropped it, came back 3 months later, picked it up really hard, started watching it back to back. I caught up. It hooked me mainly due to, well, Yuma hooked me at first, and then later on, whenever I actually figured out what the anime was about, like it was about neighbors coming from different worlds and everywhere, abducting people, using people as fuel sources and all this other stuff. It's a lot deeper than that. I mean, there's still more, and we're gonna be getting to that. I don't know when we're gonna be getting to that, but in the late future, I know for sure that World Trigger has a lot going for it, and I expect it to get darker. The reason why I expect it to get darker is because whenever I seen Yuma at the beginning and how he died and the way how he died, it just put me into a sense of, oh, this is gonna get serious. Because if there's neighbors in the other world that can one-shot Yuma, that tells you something right there. They've got a long way to go. I can't wait to keep reading, and hopefully we get the second season of the anime so that we don't have to suffer, because mainly I'm originally an anime watcher, but I will read the manga. And most of the time I read the manga first and then watch the anime, but I'm not really a manga reader. I'm an anime type fan, because the anime just gives it to me more realism. The manga does too, because I can kind of picture it in my mind after reading for so long. But I like hearing the voices and seeing everything fall into place. And it's kind of hard to get those same images coming from the manga. Well, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to share. I could have done better on this video, but as I said before, this is my very first time doing a YouTube video about an anime series and just talking in general, but I'm getting there. Like I said, my YouTube videos it's pretty much gonna start out like how World Trigger is. It's gonna be garbage, absolute cringe. It's gonna be long, boring, and ranty and mumbling and repeating myself over and over again a million times until I figure out, hey, get back to the topic. But anyhow, I guess I'll catch you guys sometime later, and I'll work up on this some more. Up on whenever I'm not tired. I'm gonna do another video of this review of World Trigger and how I got into it. It's just that I'm gonna do a better one, and not one when I'm so tired to where I can even barely look at the TV screen. And I notice how I've stopped playing already, and I was all over the place. So I guess thanks guys for whoever watched this or listened to it. I'm gonna do better next time. Just bear with the cringe and my annoying voice at the moment, and I'll see you later.